What's going on, guys? Back in the garage working on an MT, boy. Today what we're gonna be doing, putting this bad boy on right here, the Yoshimura exhaust, the AT2 or something, I think that's what it's called. Pretty simple steps here. I've already started removing the existing exhaust. So what you want to do here, let me shine my light in here. You can see that bracket hanging down. Let me see, it'll be a little difficult. It's this bracket right here. See this bracket? Sorry, let me get this bracket right here, which is pretty much held on right here. So you have a bracket. It's hard to see, but basically there's a bracket on the radiator here that goes up and holds it to the bike, right? So you remove that, it gives you a little more room. Heard people say they shoved balls or something in here to keep it out, but I've already took off the headers, or the nuts of the headers, okay? Which was pretty simple. I did just use my impact because I don't think you're gonna strip it out removing it as long as you're on there, right? We also had to remove the O2 sensor. This exhaust came with an extender. It's gonna be on the other side here. I was a little confused a little bit on how to get this off, but there's kind of like 3 clamps around it, which don't really make any sense. I was pressing on them. Doesn't do anything. It's this little flap right here. Little flap on the end right here. Just lift that up and it slides right out. So next we're gonna take it off because we gotta save it for later. There's also these little clamps on here. Pretty much if you lift up on the back, of it right here, you can just remove them. They'll come right off and you can reuse them, which is what their intended use is. So we're gonna grab whatever size wrench we need to take that off and get it off of there. And then there's like 2 more bolts we need to take off. One is like, this is one right here under, it's kind of hidden. So that should be fun to get a wrench on. Then we got another one over here. This one right here. And then the whole thing should kind of just drop. I'm thinking it just drop on out of there. All right, so I'm gonna start doing that, and then I'll be back with you. All right. I think it cracked loose right there. Oh yeah. Just lost. Oh, better grab that. Gonna need that bad boy. These are one of the grommets that you need to put back on the new one. So if any of those fall out, make sure you grab them. That should be on my bolt. Grab that bolt. There we are. So once you got the pipe out of there and everything, it's gonna want you to take the stock bracket off, which was 14 millimeters. One right here and one right here. I had to use some, you know, you might need some WD-40 or some of this shit, okay? Because that shit was really on there. I was taking this one off. When I was taking this one off, I banged my elbow. It hurt. This one I had to use all my strength in this, right? So it was kind of a bitch to get off. Next, it wants us to put this piece on and attach the headers. So this piece goes on these 2 bolts right here. I swear I'm gonna flip out if I remove those and oil starts pulling out everywhere. I'm not trying to do an oil change right now. Okay, but these are the 2 bolts right here in the center it wants you to use. Okay, so you got one on the outside, one other one outside. Yep, 2 centers. That's a 5 millimeter. If you got one of these, those are nice. Sometimes that side sometimes doesn't really want to get it. So we're gonna take these off and put this on. I'm gonna be right back. Freaking headers on. Right, we got the freaking headers on, got the nuts. This takes the one of the bolts in your packet here. It's gonna be the shorter bolt. It's I think it was a 12 millimeter. And I will say that was a biatch. Okay, it sucked. The gaskets kept falling out. Didn't know what to do about it. I got lucky on the middle one, it stayed in, and the one on the right never came out. So we left that in. The one in the middle, after I messed with it, it stayed in. This one on the left, I was able to wiggle in there once I got it started. So now all the gaskets are in there, all the nuts are on. I believe we're gonna do the O2 sensor next, I'm pretty sure. And then put the tip on. Okay, so I lied. We're gonna do the bracket here. It takes the rubber grommet and then your aluminum spacer. And you have another black grommet that goes on here. If you see that or not, but it goes on there. And then this pretty much goes like this. Just like that with your original bolts. And then I think the exhaust will hang off of that right there. So let's put those on real quick. Down before we fire it up. Still gonna put the O2 sensor in. Route from over here over to this side and then come down and tie in there. I do like this system because it's pretty much all kind of put together. It comes with one spring that's got to go on right there. Sorry, it's a little dark, but it goes on the back side of the pipe there. Yeah, I mean, other than the gaskets and everything, pretty simple install. Alright guys, so we're finishing up the exhaust. Working on the O2 sensor here. This was all strapped together with this and electrical tape, and it was annoying. Okay, but we got it stripped back to pretty much as far back as I think I need to go. I think we, I don't know, possibly should be able to reach. We'll see. If not, I'll take it back further. It wants me to reroute the whole thing back there, but it's like, bro, you got it all taped up and crap, man. So yeah, I'm gonna tape these wires back up with electrical tape. And then see if I can maneuver it over there where it's not gonna be in the way. Alright, I'll be back in a sec. Hey, O2 sensor wired up, and you can see here I kind of have a little jamble of electrical tape because it wants me to run it back in the bay area and back over there, which is kind of impossible unless you have like a hook maybe, or you want to mess with it all day. So what I did was I did cut it back further than what I originally showed there because it was not going to reach. And then I had to basically electrical tape this whole wire and electrical tape this whole wire right here, which is for your turn signal. Yeah, so I thought I'd show you too how to put these clips back on. Plastic prongs, right? Pretty much just check the side there, you know, make sure your prongs are lined up and shove it on there. Make sure they're lined up though. And this piece up here goes on the inside, the piece on the bottom goes on the outside. So if you have them mixed matched, it won't really pop on there that well. Now you just put your Allen keys back in, you're good to go. So that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. Put my Allen keys back in. I'm gonna wipe this bad boy down one more time with another rag and some rubbing alcohol. Yeah, buddy. We can take a peek at it. Most of my nuts have like 2.5 threads sticking out of there. Yeah, I know it's probably hard to see, but it's about in there. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. So for no leaks, we're gonna stick our hand up there and feel around. I do have to put this washer on still. We put the washer on for the bracket right here, wipe it all down, fire her up, hear how she sounds. Okay, I just want to go over a couple more things. The tools I used here. You know, you got a little screwdriver, knife. You got a 12 mil, two 12 mils, and and a 10 mil and a 14 mil. And you got 12, 8, 14, 17. And that's pretty much all you really need to get this job done here. So we've wiped the exhaust down, we've put everything back, we've ran the O2 sensor over. Alright, and I used the zip tie that's there to hook it to that. Looks alright. We've wiped the pipe down. Now we're gonna fire it up and check for leaks. Alright, let's hear how she sounds. Oh yeah, and this is the air filter I'm gonna be running with this setup, the DNA 2.0. Yeah, because obviously I'm gonna get the system tuned here. I am gonna start it up and probably take it for a ride, but it obviously won't be as good as it will be with the tune. We haven't put a little gear on. We're gonna fire it up, check for leaks, and then take it for a little. Alright guys, we're gonna fire it up here and take it for a spin as long as we don't have any leaks. I did want to say, I thought kind of the toughest part was the gasket on here, getting the gasket to stay. It was just kind of a pain in my ass. One tip I have is that this came with rubber bands for the flanges for the header, and I left the rubber bands on to kind of hold the flanges up, which seemed to actually help. It'd definitely be a lot easier if you had two people working on this. I would say it'd probably take you a total of 3 to 4 hours, maybe 2 hours if you're lucky, to get this whole project done here. But enough talking, let's fire it up and see how she sounds. Online. I don't think it comes with it, but you can buy the baffle. Alright, well, appreciate you guys watching. Leave a comment down below what you think is the hardest part about putting on an exhaust and a tip you have. I'll catch you in the next one.